because she's like a priest of the whatchamacallit that be, you know.
I'm confused.
All your answers don't make no sense.
Because you know what Mama said?
Stabbing Bernie in the heart with the sword would do what?
Turn him,
Turn him blue.
straight.
That would make it. Yeah, it would turn.
He would be blue.
It would turn him blue and he would now be straight as an arrow.
Exactly, right?
So I stabbed him in the heart with the sword, and all of a sudden King Kong spit us up. I guess he sensed a high level of straightness, meaning
Testosterone.
picked me up earlier. I guess two strays are better than one gay. And when
You gotta put this on the top of the road, you two, we're gonna get shot.
Okay? I'm like, just kidding, for fun.
And when he spit me up, to my surprise, I found a giant jar of
Peanut butter.
Vaseline.
Vaseline? Mama? Oh my god.
Vaseline.
peanut butter in a Vaseline jar. I asked Bern, the new straight Bernie, if he wanted a sandwich, and he told me peanut butter sandwiches are gay. I replied that I'll have you know I've eaten peanut butter and jelly all my life, and I am straighter than the straightest line. Would you please elaborate on what do you mean by gay? Bernie then says,
Homo. No testosterone.
hormone. Peanut butter has no testosterone.
Testosterone.
I told him, fine, how about a bologna and cheese sandwich? And he said,
Straight.
straight. I said, I know you're straight, but do you want a bologna and cheese sandwich? And he said,
Curd.
Hey.
he said,
Hi.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I forgot I was scared.
Delightful.
Oh, he said cartwheels are awesome.
what?
Cargo.
Cartwheels are awesome.
I thought she said
He said
cargo.
delightful and started doing cartwheels because he thought they were extremely awesome. So then I decided that I would leave before I murdered Bernie in cold
Blood.
Cold
blood.
sausage.
With-
ice cream.
murdered him in cold blood next to a case of ice cream with a frozen sausage. Talk about a murder, they'll never figure it out. I ran across the road and got hit by
King Kong.
Big toes.
a
Put
jelly
that in
bean
what's name
truck
state.
with a picture of a giant toe on it, driven by
King Kong.
King Kong and
Ken.
It's SpongeBob.
Ken.
SpongeBob.
and Britney Spears, who both were feeling some type of way and wanted to get even with me. So I got on the phone and called
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, and SpongeBob brought along
Patrick.
Patrick, and both of them were holding
Squidward.
Squidward, who was holding
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs, who had 2 cases of
Sandy.
Yeah. Wait.
Hamburgers.
Krusty Krab hamburgers that I then tossed at them rapidly until I bust out all the windows and flat the tires. But the back of the truck came open and outran a bunch of
Dogs.
dogs,
Lumbos.
giant ants. And on top of those giant ants were a team of fraternity women that spit acid and
What the
breathed
heck?
Fire.
fire. Must be the angriest mothers I have ever seen in my life. So I asked SpongeBob what he wanted to do, and when I looked back, him and Patrick had refrained and jumped in the water, left Mr. Krabs and called up Sandy and caught a boat back down to the bottom. I said, what a bunch of losers, they were supposed to have my back, and so I called
Ben 10.
Ben 10.
Oh, yeah.
Ben 10 came along, he brought Superman.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so messed up.
Hello?
And then my phone rang. I said hello twice. No one answered.
3 times.
Hello a 3rd time, only to realize that I can't hear them now.
Hello?
And for 4 times?
And the phone.
That's my son is he's telling a story. We're all cracking up. He's telling a story.
I'm explaining on the phone what's going on in the story. It's in the house, it's just where it is. And I must call you back, because if not, this all will be documented. I hang up the phone and return back to the fight, only to realize that the giant ants with the frenzy women blamed spitting fire had all turned stone because of
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, who had came to my rescue. But he was with Hermione, who had on
SpongeBob underwear.
shorty short SpongeBob underwear. And somebody thought that sexy. But Patrick thought it was sexy. And then he put his head back in the water and swam away. So I told him that I will thank you and started to walk off. And Harry Potter handed me his wand and told me to say,
Now it's your turn.
now it's your turn. And every time I say that, people would turn to stone. I asked him, was there anything else I should know? And he told me never to say,
Was there anything I should know?
was there anything I should know? So now I find myself not knowing everything, because if I said that, God knows what would happen. So I was walking around and the lady handed me the keys to a car and told me to jump in, and it had wheels and jetpacks on it and giant rocket launchers. But if I asked her if there was anything I should know, surely the world would blow up. So I just drove away in this car that was a riding death match, only to realize that
I was flying.
I was flying instead of driving, that I had forgot my
License.
license back at home, and that
And your parachute.
and my parachute, which was definitely what I needed, because I'm in a flying death bomb that could blow up with no instructions and a one that
But you
turns
got your
everything
lifeboat.
to stone. But luckily, I have a lifeboat in the trunk. Hopefully, if this thing blows up or crashes, it's over water. So I made my way back to
The Atlantic Ocean.
the Atlantic Ocean, where I would run into
Edward from Twilight.
from Twilight, who was running so fast that he could stand on top of the water. I thought it was really strange and asked him where was Bella. He responded that
Jacob has her.
Yeah.
Jacob has her, and I asked him did he want me to turn her to stone, and he said,
No.
and
But
I
you
asked
can turn
him,
Edward.
but
I
I
mean, you
could,
can turn Jacob.
but I could turn Jacob into stone. I tell him that turning Jacob into stone probably wouldn't do any good unless he was in a wolf form, because then it would look cool. Edward agreed with me, and we both hopped into the riding, flying death bomb with a lifeboat in the trunk and made our way to
Space.
Missouri.
where?
Missouri.
Missouri, Texas. That's what she said.
Missouri, Texas.
Missouri, Texas, in the small town of Tennessee. Just to find Jacob about to lay his giant lips on
Bella.
Bella.
Tummy.
I said, Bella, I can't believe you. She replied,
I'm not with Edward.
she's not with Edward, and she said that Jacob was.
Cooler when he transforms into a wolf.
I said, I don't believe it. Show me. And she then told Jacob to turn into a wolf, which then I turned him into stone, and Bella said,
Why?
why? And I said, because Edward asked me to.
Because it was all of that or down.
Bella then said Jacob was
Pouring water on him.
pouring water on her, and that's why she was going to let him kiss her, because she didn't want to get soaked anymore, and she knew that Edward hated water, and so basically she was forced to be with him. I told her it sounded like a load of bull crap, and that she probably thought that Jacob was hotter than Edward, and that she always pulls this crap, and she said, I'm just stupid. I'm just stupid. And 18. And I said, Bella, those are very good reasons why you would have did what you did. And I left, and they lived happily ever after. But then I was back on the highway only to find that I had 3 missed calls from
Mars Chestnut.
Mars Chestnut, and they wanted me to hurry up with the shipment of
King.
King
Crown.
crowns
That belongs to weird aliens.
that belong to weird aliens. Why aliens keep interrupting in my earthly life, I have no idea. But
They have chosen you.
I went to go deliver the giant alien crowns when I got robbed by a bunch of Fast and Furious drivers accompanied by who?
Vin Diesel.
Oh,
Vin
that's my
Diesel,
baby.
the leader of the Fast and Furious drivers, who had who?
Michelle.
SpongeBob.
Your mom. Megan Fox.
Ooh.
Megan Fox,
Yeah.
Michelle, my mom, and some other person all in the car, SpongeBob, riding with him. I told him that that a minivan was definitely not his style and that he should probably get something a little bit more fast. He said,
I ride in this because Will Smith showed me up.
I'll ride in this because Will Smith showed me up, and I asked what Will Smith was driving, and SpongeBob said,
Two-seater.
His Krabby Patty car.
Krabby Patty.
Austin Martin. And so I said, I have something that could show that up, and I called
Patrick.
Patrick, and Patrick showed up in a...
Krabby Patty.
The
You
giant
called
car.
James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking that James was going to say something because his car was
Let's go say Batman.
I called James Bond, and James Bond then showed up in a...
Meeting.
The Batmobile.
The Batmobile with a baby carriage on the back. And then he raced it,
Oh, yeah, what time is it?
him, and blows him out of the water. Will Smith was very upset, so he
Excuse me.
opened his trunk and
Took a shot.
took a shot of
To Brandy.
Branquila, which is brand new liquor because brandy and tequila got together and put out a new brand of liquor. And it was told to be the most exotic and intoxicating liquor ever, and it was why Will Smith was so fast. And it turns out that it makes very good gas fuel, and that's why he wins every race. Will Smith then turned around and called
Librarian.
the librarian, who was
Redheaded.
Lawrence's cousin.
Redheaded and Mark Lawrence's cousin, who drove a jet with helicopter wings. There was no way the Batmobile was going to beat this. So we went to the store and bought a
Red Bull.
Yeah.
Red Bull
Give me wings.
and poured it in the back of the Batmobile, and all of a sudden they had wings. It must really do work. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
There was then water in my front seat, so I ran in the store and bought 10 boxes of tampons and poured them in the store bottle of water. But in the process of doing this, I discovered that
Brandy.
Brandy, the chick that had
Moesha. She used to be Moesha.
that used to be Moesha, was now entering the race, and she had a crush on
Vin Diesel.
Van Diesel, but Van Diesel had a crush on
Oprah.
Anderson.
Bobby Anderson and SpongeBob.
Whitney Houston.
And but I thought Whitney Houston was smarter.
Okay.
Whitney Houston was singing about
Bobby.
Bobby, and Bobby was singing about
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane and Marvin Chestnut. And wow, Leonardo DiCaprio was madly in love with
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah because Aaliyah could sing like Whitney Houston, but Aaliyah's song was about
Dying.
dying instead of living. And for some reason, Leonardo was really obsessed with that for some kind of reason because he had a dream about
What's the guy that cut off his ear?
What?
Oh, I don't know.
The art guy?
I know you're talking about, but I don't remember his name.
Okay, well,
Big art guy.
what's the famous guy that made planes? Leonardo da Vinci.
because he had a dream about Leonardo da Vinci, who painted a picture of
A spaceship.
a spaceship, which was way before his time. In the museum, when everyone went to look at the picture, they discovered that me, SpongeBob, Van Diesel, and Leonardo DiCaprio got into an argument with Jet Li, and we spilled stained ink on the paintwork. So we called
Jackie Chan.
to come and use his fast like wax on, wax off hands to get rid of the ink before it dried. But Jackie Chan forgot to bring his
Fast.
and so when he got there, he was extremely slow. But I grabbed a remote and quickly speeded him up to the right way,
Overdrive.
the overdrive, and then he was moving so fast, he erased all the paint off of the paper. Now, in less than an hour, the security guard will return, and all of us will go to jail unless we come up with a plan. So Jackie Chan suggested that
We climbed the side of the building.
we climb the side of the building to get to the roof and
Hires.
And fly from the roof.
fly from the roof to the nearest building. I thought that it was an excellent idea, except for the fact that none of us could fly except for Jackie Chan, and suggested, what do we do now?
Call Transformers.
We called the Transformers, and they met us on the roof, turned into a helicopter, and everybody flew to the next roof. When we got there, who met us at the front door? Top of the stairs.
Who went to the top of the stairs?
Marcus Houston. Oh.
Dusty Rose.
Dusty Rose and Marcus Stewart. Marcus Stewart I know, but Dusty Rose I don't, and with a name like that, I probably don't want to. Because if her Rose is Dusty, then I don't want it.
It's him. He was a wrestler.
Baby.
Oh.
Hi.
Well, Dusty Rose was kissing Martha Stewart, and they was coming to the roof to get some alone time, only to find me, a ton of people, and a bunch of Transformers on the roof of their private home. So Martha Stewart reached in her purse and pulled out
Ella.
Ella, and Ella was full of
A.
AAA. Rihanna was on, and Martha Stewart's purse. This is not good. Ella singing AAA on the top of a roof with nowhere else to go can only mean
One thing.
and that one thing is
Shoes.
shoes. Shoes everywhere. Shoes were going to rain from the sky. So I got all upset and got worked up and said, what's next? Fitted caps, and James said,
Hello.
James said,
James said he didn't know, and then jumped off the roof, landed in the top of a BMW, and drove off. And I said, why the hell didn't he do that from the get-go? Then I went down the street, turned the corner, and it was a guy passing out newspapers, and he asked me how my day was, and I said,
Crazy. Outrageous.
I said that it was outrageously unusual that I had been in some extreme situations. He told me that if I wanted good luck, I could go through a week of extremely unfortunate events, and then I could have all the money in the world. And so I told him,
Is Obama here?
is Obama here? He replied, Obama is not, but Obama did go through with the process. So I agreed to it, and then as soon as I shook his hand, he turned into the devil, laughed, and walked away. Now I started running off, thinking, what have I done? Only to slip on a quarter, slide on some Laffy Taffy, trip over the curb, fall in a puddle, skip across the road, hit a light pole. The light pole fell, diverted a car crashed into the tower. The tower was unstable, then fell over and landed on the building next to me, which then knocked over the building that was in front of me, which then fell to the building on the side of me. A woman fell out of the window, fell on a table, flicked a spoon, and hit me in the nose with a cherry. That was some very unfortunate mess.
Apocalypse.
I then called my mama and said,
Apocalypse has begun.
the apocalypse has begun. she grabbed her Bible and said,
No worries.
Deliver us all.
Lord, deliver us all.
And repeat after me.
And repeat after me. Then she said, something, 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 Jesus, amen. And I repeated, Jesus, amen. Only to my surprise to realize the sky cracked open. A giant hand came out with what color nail polish on?
Pink.
Pink nail polish. The color was totally all wrong. I called my mom and asked her, did she see a giant woman hand coming through the sky? And she said,
That was God.
We all rule the world.
we all rule the world. And I finally knew what the lyrics meant. That hand can only belong to Beyonce. Who else would wear pink nail polish? But why was her hand coming through the sky? I was destined to get to the bottom of it. So I flew to Jay-Z's house to confront Beyonce about reaching her hand through the sky, only to find out that witchcraft was involved and that Jay-Z was not a man but a woman the entire time.
Oh my
And that
God.
Beyonce was not a woman, she was a man, and that the hand that reached to the sky, though it looked like a woman hand, was a man hand, and that by her ruling the world as women, it was men that ruled the world.
No way.
And all of a sudden, the guy jumped out of the shadow of a mailbox and said,
Speedos.
he just left. And I believe this is the end of my story because everybody has more creativity.
The end.
I could have came up with 100.